This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Welcome to Dead Radio.
We're not doing that.
How did she come to have sex with a dead man?
Don't call me Radio Unit 91.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man!
He's God here in this radio station.
Place where the dead speak.
Rebel Radio!
I'm a fake? Yes. How'd you like to be dead?
You ever think about doing radio?
My team is dead!
But you're not crazy. You're me. And this is just radio.
By the powers vested in me by the Federal Communications Commission, I command you to get on the microphone in a serious manner and continue this broadcast.
All right.
I never shared the link. Did you?
Yes, I did. I'm a professional broadcaster.
Usually you tell me, you ask me if I've done it. And you didn't. You just asked if I was ready.
Geared up and ready to go.
Fine. All right. Introduce our guests.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, I'll do what I do, and you do what you do.
Yeah, which is drink heavily.
We're back, everyone. Episode 108, off and running. We got
108 already.
Sam Beal and Rob Turner from Conversations Over Coffee. Local, well, you describe it the best in your About section on your Facebook page. Facebook.com/
I'm so proud of you.
Conversations Over Coffee. It is an open forum for discussions and opinions of topics relevant to the world around us. Because I was trying to figure out whether or not I call you guys a podcast or a vlog, or a blog, or a...
It's just like a community group.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think that says it the best.
You record it, you film it, and I do like the concept. I think it's really cool. I couldn't imagine just
sitting down with a bunch of strangers and talking like we do here.
Well,
touche.
Yeah. Well, all right. Yeah, I'll give that one to you. But like, I mean, you know, just sitting around in a public, you know, in a coffee house, the public's just, you know, in and out of the whole time, and
definitely
they just sit down and start talking to you. I mean, the public kind of scares me a little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, by the way, gluten-free bars at Adams are $3.99.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a callback to last episode.
We had
an irate customer.
I don't think it was on an episode. We had
no. We talked about it on the show.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't remember. We had a guy come in, and you've both been to the shop, Craft the Cup, quite a bit. They got those gluten-free bars in front in that display case. The guy asked how much it cost. It was they're $3.50, and you know, I figure that's how much they cost. It's a good bakery, and it's gluten-free, so I'm sure it costs and they taste good, so they cost a lot. So he like pitched a fit about it, how much they cost. And at Adams, they cost $2, and you know, Tanner just looked at me and goes like, "No, they don't." And I came home and I told my wife about it, and she goes, "No, they don't. They're $3 on sale." Or $3 on sale, she said. So I was like, all right. So anyway, but that's the public I'm talking about.
Definitely.
Get those aggro people sitting down with you.
You really haven't had anyone come in just walk from the public in there. Maybe one time, June, our most recent member, but no one has just come in saying like, "I want to be a part of this conversation."
Well, June was definitely aware of the conversations over coffee, so it's not like she just stumbled upon us.
No.
I know we've tried to encourage people who you can notice that they're kind of listening in on what the conversation is, and it's like you started saying, "Hey, come on over."
Yeah.
And you know they're always no, we'll just stay right here and we'll just kind of listen in. But you try to get them involved, and they have that fear, I guess, like you have, of getting involved with a bunch of people that you don't know.
Right.
Even though they should know that we're a bunch of people that we really don't know each other very well, and until we've been doing this.
But you understand the role of being a moderator. Like, you are moderating this conversation, and the stronger you are as a moderator, the more control you can have, you know?
Yeah, like right now, as a moderator, I would tell you to talk into the microphone.
Okay, yeah, talk to the microphone. Definitely. Thank you.
You can angle it up if you want. If you don't want to slap it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, thank you. That was great.
Yeah, but, well, for me, you know, conducting and moderating the whole thing. Yeah, that is quite the challenge also. But I'm just, if it was, outside looking in, you don't know if you're cool to interject too. I mean, you guys have you have a pretty good following from what I understand.
So it's not so much people just walk in and sit down. It's that they know what you're doing, they know why you're there, and have they like approached you online first? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for one, June, more recent. She's probably in her 60s or 70s. She showed up and said, "Is this Conversations Over Coffee?" We have put a couple ads out there, and we do get some feedback from online, and most of our participants are, I would say, regulars. You agree?
I would say now we have a regular group. It's much larger than our 3 that was originally, where we started at.
And it's word of mouth. Like a participant might bring we have one of our first participants from Vassar, a freshman, and that was due to one of our other participants going the rock wall, climbing. Like, hey, this is a cool topic. Please come. And that just grows and grows and grows.
No, that's cool. So how long ago did it start? Because I only just recently heard about it when he mentioned it because you guys got to talking
probably
at the coffee
June
shop.
2016.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
At the Crafted Cup. Went to Tanner's, like, hey, can we hang this up? And he's like, totally cool about it. And like that's what's cool about Crafted Cup. If they weren't cool about this, I don't know if we would have continued.
Oh wow, that's interesting. What made you start?
I think
now was it before you answer that? Was it the 2 of you guys that came up with it, or you? Or?
No, it would be
Sam.
Okay.
I came up with I felt just, especially in like the political scene, a lot of us have a lot of emotions and ideas about certain topics, and a lot of us want to express them, especially on social media. But I felt that we never could really have a good conversation on Facebook.
No.
People would fight, anger, or
because it's a lot easier for people to call you a jerk or an asshole online.
Definitely.
They're not going to come somewhere and sit down and talk to people that they don't necessarily agree with. So you're not going to get like...
We had a friend of mine, he was a Trump guy. We had him on a couple times. And the conversation was actually kind of weird because I pitted Adam, the kid's name was Scott. I pitted Adam and Scott against each other because Adam's, very we're both pretty much very left, and Scott's very much right. So I pitted them against each other, and I just was asking. I started going down like just vague questions about certain topics, and they were agreeing. Probably 85% of the time,
for sure.
they were agreeing on the topics, and it was just interesting to see that once they started talking about candidates and
how divisive it got.
It fell apart.
Definitely.
But it was also way more constructive than a Facebook argument. Because when you're sitting in front of somebody and you get a feel for them and, they're not a bad person, they're a decent dude or chick, and you don't want to disrespect them, but you don't agree with them. So you have to find that happy medium. And that's what's good about...
And another thing we're trying to figure out, one of our participants brought up the idea of a filter bubble. I don't know if you've heard of this, but Google will send you ads and suggestions based on your click history or your browser history. And Facebook will show you things like your post and things you want to see based on what your likes, like the like button is. So there's like a TED Talk, and I've posted a blog post on my Facebook page on the Conversations Over Coffee, and I've linked to a TED Talk where if you don't like something and like you're not liking people who post Trump stuff, Facebook will start censoring it. Like
it's filtering them out.
Yeah. Really?
So you're only seeing like what you enjoy, what you like.
Yeah.
So it already reaffirms your own views. So like it pushes you more radical in your own little bubble. And so like that's the thing is like I feel that one of the reasons we're so polarized, we're all on social media and we're only seeing things that reaffirm our own beliefs. Like, oh, I believe this, and everyone's agreeing with me on Facebook, and therefore I'm going to continue. You know?
When we have an opinion, when I have an opinion about something, he usually agrees with me, and I agree with him, and we rarely argue about when it comes to politics and everything like that. So it actually makes for a boring ass conversation because we're just sitting here going, high five. We're
It's usually he brings something up, and then I rant about it for 11 minutes. And then we talk about something else. And that's kind of why we've gone in a different direction with the show, bringing guests in for different content because it was getting a little stale. So
definitely, and I think the problem with that is you don't create something called like serendipity. Serendipity is being able to find something of value when you didn't expect it. And when you bring different views in, you're bringing stuff you weren't even aware in your own bubble, and you're able to connect different things together and create value. You know, so it seems to be value in bringing different viewpoints in the same room together.
Yeah,
like what you're trying to do. You brought someone from a Trump supporter. It might be tough. The conversations might be rough, but I think there's a lot of value to be gained from that.
Yeah, and it's just some insight, and he ended up being actually pretty well informed. Just, I mean,
until you dig a little deeper after. Like I'd never heard of those things for pretty specific reasons.
Oh, well, whatever.
Like once you do 2 seconds of digging, it's
oh yeah,
yeah. Most of the things, and that's why. I got annihilated in that conversation because I don't have an answer for that because I've never heard of it. So, but 6 or 7 Snopes articles later, and we know what the real deal
Well, you heard
is.
about Snopes though.
What's that?
They're run by oh man, there's some article.
The thing is, it doesn't matter who it's run by. Doesn't matter because they're showing me 7 different sources that I can then go look at and go, okay, yes, that's true. Doesn't matter. It can be completely right wing. It's the truth because they're citing sources.
Okay.
From credible news outlets.
Sure.
So, yeah, it doesn't... I mean, I understand that, and I think I did hear that they are owned by, like, a right-wing something, or left-wing. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because once you're confronted with facts, that you just can't argue against it.
But what is a fact, though, right?
Well, I mean, when it's shown on several credible news sources as the same thing coming from the same people, it's much different than just saying it, which is a big problem in politics right now. People just say it, and then they don't feel that they have to defend it at all. And I think we all know who I'm talking about. Yeah. I don't want to go down that road.
9 times during the election, I click on everything. I don't care if somebody posts some, something from, the Blaze or whatever. I'll click on it just to see, and it's not, most of the time it's sensationalized, or it's got like a catchy headline just to get you to click. And if you do some digging, it's you find the truth, if you want to, however that seems. But the whole fake news thing really kind of took the election, took everything, politics in general, off into a wild direction, and I think it really messed up a lot of people and really skewed a lot of important decisions. And it's kind of crazy. They came out with some chart on what are the most credible news outlets out there right now.
What is that? I'm curious in that.
There's like 3 or 4. There's the Washington Post.
Okay.
The New York Times is
unfortunately it is the one. Washington Post is one of, because even though they're jerks, everything that they say is pretty much true. I mean, it's all like ridiculous, grabby headline stuff, but they don't lie. They just say ridiculous and horrible things on their front page sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but they do cite their sources, and they do a pretty good job of that.
I believe another one of them was the NPR, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
But a lot, and here's the funny
Al
thing:
Jazeera
if
was
you,
one of them,
Al Jazeera. But the funny thing about NPR is, if you talk to someone who typically is more supportive of the right, they'll say that they are left-leaning. But our NPR stations, not television but radio around here, is WAMC, Northeast Public Radio, and those guys are heavy left.
They're left-sided. They're left-wing.
Oh yeah, big time. Alan Chartock,
sure.
Vox Pop is like the name of his show, and a couple other ones that he does. They are very, very critical of the right side. However, NPR.org and their news site, that's mostly where if I'm looking for a news article that I want to talk about on the show, I go to NPR first. If they don't have it, I try and find it somewhere else. If it's by The Blaze or Breitbart or Huffington Post or The Guardian, I just throw it out and I say that's not even worth my time, because most of the time when you click on the headline, like, whoa, what the hell? And then you read the article, it's the headline doesn't.
That's nothing.
Yeah, the headline doesn't match any of the content, and it's incredible. it's just really disturbing how, people just see something and just run with it without actually, taking a peek into, like, just, even if you disagree with it, just learn a little bit and then go off and spout your nonsense.
Yeah, I'm trying to find like a top 10 list, but they're all just.
I
just feel bad. Like, it's just so. This is Forbes. I'm reading now, and it's like unreadable because I need to. Number 1 is the New York Times, and then I need to click on the next page to see what the second one is, so that I'll look at as many ads as possible.
Yeah, I found the chart. So
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing that we're doing at Conversations when we first started out, we really were not doing a lot of research or reading about the topic that we were talking about. We just would kind of show up and say, "Hey, anyone got an idea?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it." But now we've tried to really kind of plan out what we're going to be doing, so that way people can go out there and find articles or I shouldn't say books or other information regarding that particular topic. And it's really enlightening to be able to start reading this stuff, because if you're not kind of forced to, sometimes you'd like to avoid doing it.
I'll do show prep for this show, and I'll see a headline, and I'll blaze through it real quick, and I'll bring it up on the show, and then I'll actually read it, and it'll be a disaster. I'm like,
like the male birth control pill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, they think that they might be close to possibly making male birth control a thing, and I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it turns out it wasn't a pill. It was like some kind of injection.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was basically injecting plastic into your vas deferens to make
Block it off?
to block it.
That doesn't sound fun.
That's not male birth control. That's just that's a vasectomy without
having to do anything. Yeah.
So
that was.
But
flop.
when I actually sit and I read the article, I'm like, oh, okay.
But
So I can bring this to
that
the
did
table.
lead into the duck penis thing though, which was amazing.
Yeah, that is very true.
But do you think sensationalism in the media is new? Like
It's
No,
not.
it's definitely not new. I mean, clickbait is the same as the Post has been doing for almost 100 years.
And wasn't there like yellow journalism back in like the 1920s? Like, it's fascinating. I don't know.
It's just it's because we have social media.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
the stupid stuff flies really fast.
Correct.
Because sex and blood and violence sells, and anger and outrage that makes you click because it triggers something in your brain that makes you want to fight or defend. So you share. And,
Correct.
and you pass it along, even though I've gotten caught too.
Yeah.
I've shared an article and went,
maybe I should have read that.
And then I would go back and read it, and I go, I don't delete it. I try not to delete them. It depends on how bad it is. But I'll leave it up, and then I'll just comment below. Yeah, I'm dumb. This is a complete bullshit article.
You really got to read first before you go hitting that.
Don't
button.
judge me.
So how did Rob? How did you get come into the fold? Or
well, it's kind of interrelated because Sam happens to be my nephew.
Oh,
and
okay,
so
well,
we
there
happen
you
to
go.
be friends on.
That's called nepotism.
Correct.
Yes.
Not really.
No, it is for sure.
And being linked on Facebook, all of a sudden he popped this thing up there saying, "Hey, I want to start some type of group. Where we can get together and talk about topics and things." And I said, "Wow, that's really a great idea because I hear about it in other places, but haven't really heard about it here." And when you basically get up in the morning, you go to work, you deal with your work group all day long, and then you go home and you're home and you go to bed and you start the whole day over again, you really don't get to meet other people outside that circle. And so I said, this is going to be a good opportunity for me to get out, meet new people, learn new information, and expand my horizons.
A delicious
so,
cup of coffee.
Oh, well, I have the tea, so.
You're tea guy.
Yeah, I'm a cinnamon hot spice.
Oh, that one's good.
But another thing is that, like with Rob, yeah, definitely.
I want to find out what you drink now.
Oh, what I drink?
Sam, yeah.
Oh, I drink coffee, black coffee.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
You don't get one of like a Miel or a
Nope, just coffee
RPG
black.
or a Cubano?
Just coffee black.
Nothing fancy.
How do you feel about that one? Just boring? Boring all coffee black?
Well, I'm kind of, I don't know, not to steer this off
No, let's do it. Let's do
in
it.
a different
No,
direction.
do it, 'cause
but
I gotta do what are you drinking?
When I, oh yeah, that's true. When I first got to when I first started working there,
Sure.
I just was like, coffee, milk, sugar, done.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then he's just like, you have to taste everything. So, strap in. I went home that night, like flying. I was like,
you guys want to see the picture?
off the
I gotta show
fucking
you the
rails.
picture.
My hair was standing up. By
Oh
the time I
my
got home.
God.
But he had me try the Cubano. I like espresso, but usually I just have a shot of espresso with a little bit of lemon in it, and I'm done.
Sure.
But the Cubano's got caramelized sugar in it, and the RPG's got brown sugar.
My brother
and
loves RPG.
caramel and-
Loves RPG.
This was the picture that he sent me after his first day.
That's great. That's great.
You want to show the people at home?
Have you gotten to the nitro yet?
Yeah, I had the nitro. Adam, let me have the. Jesus, it looks like a mugshot.
It does. It does. The
like
nitro
they
will wake you up.
They picked me up outside the Chance after our Guar show.
You should definitely put that up on the. I'll do it. I'll Photoshop it.
But I lost my train of thought. Where was I going on
About
that?
the nitro.
Oh, the nitro. Yeah, I like that one a lot. It's basically you feel like you're drinking a beer, but it's coffee.
It's pretty concentrated too. I feel like every time I drink, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
It's kind of double strength. So.
Yeah, it was good though. I like it a lot.
You haven't slept for days afterwards.
Yeah, well, after I got home again, but yeah, now because of tasting and understanding how everything's prepared and
He's
preparing
now
it
up
myself.
to 6 shots of espresso per shift.
Shit, yeah, I'm just hammering them down.
Oh, really?
Trying this, trying that. If I underpour or overpour something, I got some left. I just whack that down real quick just to see how it came out. This and that.
Do you ever
And
feel like
now
you
I'm
hit
like-
a tipping point with caffeine? Like I always feel like there's a tipping point where you're just like,
There is a point where it no longer does anything, but you need it to live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
like,
some
it
people
doesn't.
like that.
You don't like. It doesn't wake you up anymore, but without it, you're asleep.
wow.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I think I had four drip coffees today and 1 shot probably, which isn't a lot. Like some days, I mean, especially a day where I had to be in at 8, like I might have 6.
Yeah.
But it was just too busy today.
I found out where I was working before.
Okay.
It was me sitting in a car, driving to the job, working alone, to basically talking to myself or someone on the cell phone. So, and what you were saying before about interacting with the public and everything
Correct.
like that,
Yeah.
after 9 years of pretty much being just in solitude for most of the day, talking to people while I'm working and interacting with everything, it's a totally different. Like I feel like I've reactivated a part of my brain that was dormant because I never needed.
Was it overwhelming at all at first?
At first, I mean, the way I approach that kind of thing, like, it's if I have to go out and do that, I get nervous. If I'm just all right, I'm punched in. This is what I have to deal with. I just deal with it.
Sure.
I don't. If I have to do it, and I have no choice, I just deal with the situation. But if like leading up to it, and I know that it's going to be chaos, I kind of, I psych myself out sometimes.
Sure.
But,
Sure.
yeah. Yesterday, I've never run that section of the shop,
You
and
seem to do fine.
seem to be all right.
I'm
I
sure
was
all,
spilling all
your
kinds
drinks
of shit.
tasted like crap.
Yeah. Some of them I didn't stir. So
How
it's just
dare
a
you
big-
not stir
there's
that
a
drink?
Big blob of honey at the bottom of one of these.
It was shaken, not stirred. It's like
This damn honey.
There are so many times when you realize hours later that you totally fucked up somebody's drink.
Sure.
Like hours later, and you're like, I definitely didn't put espresso in that person's drink.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, they did not
gave
notice.
And this has happened. I gave someone a whole, and it would be like, what are these 2 shots of espresso doing here?
Yeah.
Like what's happening? And that was what it was, because I gave someone a cappuccino with no espresso in it.
Yeah.
Have you ever gave someone who wanted decaf caffeinated? Just like
I'm sure it's happened.
There's like, oh no.
I mean, there's no way. There's no way it couldn't happen.
When I see decaf come up on the screen, I take extra precaution, especially when I see like soy or almond milk, because I don't my wife's a vegetarian.
Sure.
So I wouldn't give her a piece of I wouldn't slip her a piece of beef. Well,
yeah, just
I mean,
just
I
to
don't
be
know.
funny.
Gotcha.
But so I see that, and I think, if somebody's a vegan or whatever, I got to make special care that milk doesn't end up in their drink.
Correct.
They're gonna ruin their fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important for them.
Yeah.
At least you give a shit. I like that. I'm sure some people are like, fuck, like what they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know a couple. It's not me.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean,
I won't name names.
Yeah.
I don't know these people, so I
But
just
you haven't. You're going to get to know these people, and then you're going to have the regulars coming in, and you're going to start these dialogues going on because, hey, how you doing? And they'll come back on a regular basis. You see them, you're going to almost have the conversations over coffee like we do.
Yeah.
But it's going to be limited in time.
And then there's all the fuck this person.
Oh yeah, you're going to have those.
Sure.
So
Those are
many
great.
of those.
I was staring at this girl for 5-10 minutes while she tried to figure out what she was getting. She had waited online. She had got to the counter. She took about 5 minutes to figure out what drink she was having, and then she took about 5 minutes to figure out what she was eating. And I was just like, don't worry, take your time. Meanwhile, I want to go, what were you doing? What were you doing? I've seen you here before. You know the menu.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's so funny, this intimacy you create with these customers, and they have no idea, It's in reality, it's just like, what do you want? Ring, receipt. And in your heads, you're like, there's this whole narrative that's going on.
Well, the funniest thing to me is that there are so many customers who I know all their names.
Okay.
Because I have to take their name for their order. But then, like, months and months and months later, actually, the girl that I forgot to put espresso in her cappuccino, it was that day. And she was like, I don't even know your name. And I've known her name since the beginning, since I first started working there. But that's fine. I've never told her my name. How would she know?
Mm-hmm.
Why would she need to know my name?
Sure.
You're
But that was just weird.
guy.
I'm going to start wearing my Bosch hat.
Yeah.
Now everybody will know.
That would be great.
I'm currently working at a vegan cafe up in New Paltz, Carmer Road.
Oh, I love that place.
Sure.
I'm not a vegan.
Yeah, it's
the food's awesome.
I like the food there. This guy comes in, Todd, and he I know his name, and he knows my name. He's like, Sam, this, Sam.
Sure.
We have a segment on the show. We bring in. What's it?
I don't know.
Oh, my sister-in-law is probably over with her dogs.
Your dog's awesome, by the way.
Everybody says that, but sometimes.
Oh, I can see from your point, but from someone who doesn't have to be here every day, it's okay,
It's kind of like kids. It's like they're fine when they're not yours.
Yeah,
they leave.
Yeah, and you get to leave with it.
I hear you on that. But we usually bring on some. Try to bring on local booze or just unique stuff in general and talk about it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
You first, since. Well, what are you drinking, Rob? First of all,
I happen to be drinking Mio and water.
Oh, Mio. Okay.
Yeah, Mio and water.
It's the stuff you squirt in the water?
Correct. I stay away from beer. I'm not really a big beer drinker. I'm more of a tea drinker, and I'll drink wine.
Okay.
So, I mean, white wine is my preference.
Yeah.
Well,
I drink. If it's got alcohol in it, I'm down. I just can't drink beer because I have celiacs. Huh?
Do you want one of these things?
Yes, I do.
I'm drinking the Indie IPA, Cisco Brewers Nantucket. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy IPAs. Yeah.
Strong. Is it heavy IPA or is it more of a lighter one?
I wouldn't say heavy. Definitely got a little bite to it. A little hops flavor. But
double fist, so I can add to it.
I enjoy the hops flavor. I like it. Like I always said, I drink my coffee black. My palate, I like bitters. Bitters,
oh, okay.
I'll say you definitely would like the bitters if you drink black coffee.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you? Oh yeah.
I'm drinking spiked seltzer, Indian River grapefruit. Spiked seltzer is the name of it. I don't really know much about it. It's
Everyone, producer Amy is leaving. Let's make a big deal out of it.
Bye.
Bye.
It was a pleasure.
Bye.
Thanks for the safe word.
Love you.
It's a gluten-free beverage.
Wait.
These are 6%. Jesus Christ!
I just tried this. This is awesome.
What is that? Oh, the Indie IPA?
Yeah. I'd say like medium malty, probably 80 IBU.
Cisco Brewers, I don't know if they were first picking up steam, BC, or they just weren't distributing in New York.
Okay.
BC means before celiacs. I used to be a craft beer guy.
Okay.
I used to know everything about everybody. I know about the brewery and all this stuff, and I try to keep up on it just so I loved it so much. But
I do want you to smell this. So on the side they go, the strains of hops selected for this IPA showcase all that we love from these dank buds.
Oh, right.
It smells like straight
I like
up weed.
these guys. Does it?
Oh, that sounds great.
Oh, yeah, it is kind of skunky. That's 6'2", jeez.
Yeah.
So
nice.
I saw you guys drinking like whiskey the other day, like the other podcast. So do you enjoy whiskey then?
Oh,
or
I'm
bourbon?
I'm a huge whiskey fan.
Yeah,
I love
especially
whiskey.
because he can't have the gluten because it hurts his tummy.
Yeah, whiskey, tequila, gin. Yeah.
Have you gotten involved in a lot of the local?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Local companies and stuff?
And Tuttleton, is it? I always forget
Tut Hill Town.
Tut Hill Town.
Everyone says Tuttleton.
Yeah, Tuttletown. I love their bourbons, the Hudson Valley line, I guess, the rye and everything like that.
Sure.
I think they're excellent. One of the best, I would say the best gin, in my opinion, has got to be Warwick Valley.
Oh, for sure.
Their gin is
So
absolutely incredible.
Warwick Valley gin with that really expensive tonic.
Q
that they have.
tonic.
No, and it's not that.
Oh,
no, they
whatever.
hit Fever Tree.
Fever Tree, that's it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that is, if you're a gin person, I don't know.
Sure. I can
Gin's
get behind
actually
gin.
making quite a comeback lately. A lot of people are drinking it more. But that is, it's super dry, heavy juniper, really medicinal tasting gin, and it's absolutely great, incredible. It's the same guys who do Doc's hard ciders.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Yep.
and they make their pear cider is the best out of period, in my opinion.
I know the ciders are something that I wanted to try to get involved. I guess I shouldn't say involved in, but I wanted to try to expand my horizons on them. But I just really haven't found too many that really I like.
The Angry Orchards, the Badass Ciders, the
Naked Duck or Naked Flock.
Naked Flock is good. I like Naked Flock.
They're the best ones that I found so far.
The thing with ciders are they Angry Orchard, for instance, is owned by Sam Adams, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they try to make it so that they can market it, so they could just sell it. So it's a little more sugary, a little more sweet, syrupy, and like wild ass crazy flavors, elderflower. And it's not good. It's not a good representation of ciders because there's great. Awestruck is a fantastic cider. It's they make a lavender hop.
They're all taking notes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, we'll be able to watch the show again.
Yeah,
So I don't know why I'm taking notes.
Well, you can feel free. He's just busting balls.
Yeah, last week Amy was like, why she was here taking pictures. She's doing a project on us for her visual anthropology class.
Oh yeah, that took a shit.
And he was like, he's like, why aren't you writing any of this down? She's like, I can just watch it later. I don't
Great point. Great
She
point.
was supposed to interview us, and by then we were too drunk, so we went
Yeah.
on a 20-minute rant just to explain, I like doing this because I like entertaining people.
Oh, okay.
And that was it. Like, I could have said that, but instead I did 15 minutes of, when I was a young boy, I first heard Opie
Strapping
and
young
Anthony.
lad.
So
What do you think of this seltzer crap?
I like this. This one's spiked seltzer is good. It's a little sweet, which I don't like.
will never buy it again.
There's one.
I mean, it's fine. It kind of tastes like a San Pellegrino. The problem that I have with it, it's not a malt beverage. I was expecting a Zima when I first tried
What's
it.
a Zima?
Oh my God, we're so
you
old.
know Zima?
I mean, I've heard of Zima. I've never had.
How old are you?
Zima.
25.
Zima was the big like chick drink before the hard lemonades came out. It was the beer for people who don't like beer. It tastes like 7-Up.
Okay.
Straight up tastes like 7-Up.
And it's just malt liquor.
And all they did, they took malt extract, added it to water, fermented it, strained it, and then added lemon lime flavor.
Okay.
So it was clear.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Absolutely
It tastes
delicious.
exactly like 7-Up. Exactly like
Better than
7-Up.
Four Loko?
Way better than 4 Loko.
This
so this is
Zima
kind of
started it all. Started Mike's Hard Lemonade. Started Tequila's.
Yeah, girls in cowboy hats. That's what it's for.
Okay.
It's for girls in cowboy hats. So this kind of reminds me of that. This is for someone who's like, I want something sweet, but I don't like beer. That's what it is.
Well,
so and also they don't want to get like shit faced from drinking straight liquor.
I don't know. This is 6%.
It's 6% alcohol. But the thing is, I would much, much, much rather have seltzer with vodka in it than this.
Yes, I agree.
So what's the point of it? It's expensive too. It's $10 for a 6-pack.
No way.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. So, but I only got it for the bit because he's gluten. So I always get all this shit and you can't try any of it.
Brooke gets Truly, and that has it's totally different. You know, it's got that kind of weird. It tastes like grapefruit, but it tastes like a grapefruit candy.
Fake grapefruit.
You know,
So-
like a
so
sour
let me read
apple
off the
candy. It tastes
ingredients.
like blue raspberry. It tastes
Yeah.
like raspberry. That's
So-
kind of what this tastes like. You know?
So it's so she basically billed it like they were having a tasting, and she billed it as it's not a malt liquor, it's gluten free, it's actually fermented fruit juice and this and that, and I was like, oh cool, didn't read the label.
Pants on
So
fire.
it's it is true, but it's purified water, cold fermented dextrose, which is fruit sugar.
Okay.
So it's processed to high hell to create basically a purified sugar from fruit. Then crystalline fructose. That's a new one. Don't know what that is. I know it's sugar. I know it's sugar, but I've never. Is that just sugar? Like sugar crystals?
Let's look it up.
I bet you it's just cane sugar. They didn't want to say cane sugar or something.
Okay.
Natural grapefruit flavor. So, yeah, I don't know how they did that. Sodium citrate and citric acid, just the preservatives. So it's not as bad as it could be. Like it could have corn syrup in it, but it's not. Like she really billed it as, we just ferment, fruit juice.
Oh, here you go. You
I
ready?
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Crystalline fructose is derived from corn, just like high fructose corn syrup.
there you
Sweet, because crystalline fructose is sweeter than table sugar. The HFCS. Wait.
High fructose corn syrup.
Oh, high fructose. I'm sorry. It's okay. Let's.
Do you want to throw it up there and I'll just read
reset?
it?
No.
No?
Because crystalline fructose is sweeter than table sugar and high fructose corn syrup.
Oh my.
It is a valuable sweetener for low-calorie, sugar-free foods and beverages since less can be used to achieve the same sweetness. So I'm sure it's just as bad,
Sure.
Probably.
if not worse.
My thing against all fruit drinks,
Yes.
just don't like the sweet. You know, when I drink wines, I go for the dry.
Oh, for sure.
Dry. I drink bitter beer, and it just doesn't fit my palate, the sugar.
I could go both ways. I missed it. Anyway, I'll figure that. But my wife, she
Enough with that.
loves dry. It's always, if it's her sweet tooth is just really, really sensitive. Like
Okay.
the slightest bit of sweetness, and she's like completely put off. It's really weird. But either way, I don't really care. If it tastes good, it could be really, really sweet. If it's really, really sweet and all the flavors are good, then
But sometimes I just can't get past it. You
Yeah.
know? Like I love honey wines, like meads, but 99.9% of them are undrinkable. They're just so sweet.
Like the hard ciders I'm talking about.
Yeah, same thing.
Oh, just be like,
there's
too sweet.
There's
too
something to be said. I was on vacation, or not vacation, honeymoon in Hawaii, and we were sitting on the beach, and I look over and I'm looking at this giant resort hotel that we didn't stay at because we didn't have the money to. They had an outside bar. I was like, oh, screw it. Let me see. If I walk up, what are they gonna do? They're gonna say, no, you don't go here. So I walk up and I got the most ridiculously fruity, over the top. I had to carry it with two hands back to my beach towel. There's something to be said about drinking one of those sugar bombs on the beach. It was a good feeling.
The sugar bomb.
Yeah, it was
It's
just
an
this,
appropriate name. A sugar bomb.
this globe of frozen strawberry and just no alcohol. It's just all sugar. And then you drink that, you get a little drunk, and then you fall asleep.
Exactly.
You go into a diabetic coma. So, but that's it. That's all you brought. Anything else? What else
Yeah,
would
I drank
blow
Trogue's Java Head Stout, which is awesome.
And we've done that before.
Yeah, we had it at the coffee shop for a while.
Yeah.
I just wanted, kind of two ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
For real beers. It's delicious. Yeah.
Do you get any input in the beer selection at
I probably could. But Tanner and I have very similar tastes, so he usually just... I mean, the last one that he picked out is...
Citra
Bomb, which is spectacular. It's a lager, but you first taste it and you go, wow, that's a great IPA. And then you taste it again, you go, wait a minute, that's not bitter. It just tastes like an orange peel.
Sure.
Yeah. And
is it a sour?
It's slightly sour, but it's only because of the Citra hops. It's not actually a sour beer.
Okay.
So it's really light, not very bitter, tons of like orange and grapefruit kind of notes, and that's all from the Citra hops.
Sure.
And it's all dry hopped, so it's not bitter.
What are your take on sours? Are you a fan of sours?
Love sours. Yeah, they got to be good.
I can't get
they got to be
behind them.
good though.
I can't get behind them.
50% of the time they're complete garbage.
Sure.
And a lot of that is because of whatever strain they're using and from what country that it's from. European sours, they're not necessarily made in Europe, but the yeast comes from Europe.
Okay.
Because it's not like they're doing it the way Trappist monks did with an open fermentation vessel. There are still some breweries that do that, but it would be too inconsistent to do on a commercial scale. So they culture those wild yeasts to create the sour flavors. So Dogfish had a really good sour for a while there. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Sloop Brewing Company. There's a
They got
local
a really good
brewery
sour.
here. Their sour peach is fantastic. It's very, very good. Also, I don't know if they're still doing it. Amagang did Zur, Z-U-R, Z-U-U-R, and it's a sour cherry. And again, BC, sour beers were just starting to take off. So I got the experimental batches. I was drinking some of the experimental batches from the brewers and everything like that. But now they're, you should probably, if you're a brewery, you should probably try your hand at a sour, just to put it out there, because pretty much everybody's, got something to represent that section of beer.
Late 90s, early 2000s was the whole craft beer revolution where, wow, Sam Adams isn't the only good beer anymore. And everybody had
let's
the
give
local,
credit where credit's due to Halftime for
for
opening
sure.
up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That was awesome.
Those guys.
But I mean, now you can go into a gas station or a Rite Aid and get really good beer consistently. Not much of a selection, but they're going to have three or four really good things.
Like for people listening, what are those good? Like,
you can go to Rite Aid, and especially Captain Lawrence.
Yeah,
they have a contract with a lot of places around here.
The first one that came to my mind.
And
they're from Elmsford, New York.
You can get their Hop Commander IPA at Rite Aid right around the corner for $8.99. Fresh Chester Pale Ale from them. Also, there's Coney Island, the Mermaid Pilsner they got over there. And I mean, it's on the way here, so I've had every good beer that they have at Rite Aid. And then
You pick your
shit, I
meds up
forgot
and get
something.
your beer at the
I
same
forgot
time.
a beer for what are you drinking? So
today I actually went to the beer distributor and picked out some things that I've never had. I mean, I've had the Java Head, but I always get one thing I've never had before, and then one thing I know is good, just in case this is terrible.
You're hedging your bet.
Yeah. Because even if it's terrible, I'm still gonna drink it, but I'll drink 3 or 4 of these first.
Agreed.
I find gluten-free beers at gas station now too,
Yep.
and not Red Bridge, which is Budweiser's version, but I mean good stuff. Omission, which is I believe a sister company of Fort Collins Brewing, who makes what do they do? The chocolate blonde and the
I don't know.
Flaming Z or whatever the fuck that is. That smoked beer that they got.
Yeah, I'm finally getting back into beer again.
Yeah.
I've obviously been into beer for the last year, but it's been well, I can afford 1 6-pack this week of good beer, and then it's Milwaukee's best until payday. So that's been my. It's going on 3 years now. Jesus.
Yeah. Wait, 3 years what?
Since I left Mercedes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Mercedes.
Time flies.
I've been with
when
Amy
you're doing
for 2.
a podcast.
I've been with Amy for 2, and it was a full year before that.
Is Mercedes a woman or a company? Are we talking about a business, or is this a lady?
I think he's talking about the cars.
Yeah. No, I was a mechanic for many years.
That's a nice way.
Oh man, if you dated a girl named Mercedes, I would have given you so much shit.
Describe her. I want to hear.
Describe
Yeah,
Mercedes.
yeah.
She's got long nails, long fingernails that they're not real. But for some reason, she just keeps putting them on every week. She's putting them on. They're different colors. She's got that. What is that?
She wants
blonde on the bottom.
She wants to ask you a question.
Yes, she wants to ask you a question. She does this a lot. Let me tell you something.
See, she went Latina really fast, didn't she?
No,
yeah. No.
I'm thinking like South Jersey.
South Jersey, just white Italian broad. She's orange, probably.
Donald Trump.
And I just see that you have RuPaul here in front, and
Yeah.
down there, and I said, "That's exactly what I would imagine this type of thing being."
Like a drag, yeah.
Exactly.
Who's RuPaul? I have no idea who this is.
Drag queen.
What?
I
Oh
admit it,
gosh,
I mean,
Strap in, kids. We're gonna talk
this
about
is gonna
RuPaul.
Be interesting.
Okay, so you're young, so you don't know RuPaul.
No.
RuPaul.
He didn't know what Zemo was. Yes, he's young. So Ryan and we're in our mid-30s
Okay.
with minimum wage jobs.
Sure.
We just decided to leave our careers and be 22 again. It's nice.
I'm
It's-
in.
It's
I'm
very,
with it.
it's
I'm
very
with it.
liberating.
Yeah.
But we've been around a little while.
Let me get
I'm trying to think how long she's just. You gotta work. I mean, is the main song that
You
she came out.
better work.
Thank you. I mean,
Sachet.
Shantae.
See?
Yeah,
So-
it's
so
like
yeah.
everybody
It was a
knows
massive
it's
hit.
big
Anyway.
hit.
So one of the first famous. She's a cross-dresser, or
No.
is she
She's
transgendered?
no,
I don't
no,
know how
no.
she identifies. I don't know what her pronoun is.
She doesn't do the pronoun thing.
Okay.
So this is okay. Hold on. Let me get two pictures up here. So this is RuPaul.
Correct.
Dressed as a dude. Okay. This is RuPaul dressed as a drag queen. Okay.
RuPaul. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So
Difference.
it was her and drag was kind of like I'm learning all this. This is a new thing because she does a show. He doesn't matter. She doesn't care. I say she because they all say she.
It's she.
She has a show called RuPaul's Drag Race. She basically
Correct,
collects. It's a reality show for upcoming drag queens. And they
Needless to
compete.
say, Ryan is not their key demo.
No, not at all. I am not. They're not aiming at me.
Definitely not.
My wife was watching it, and I'm like, "What the hell's this shit?" And she explained it to me. Have you ever seen Face Off, that TV show?
No.
It's hard to explain if you don't watch reality show TV. But
it's like
it doesn't
trying
matter.
to think of what, because Face Off didn't do it originally. Like someone else has done it.
Yeah.
It's a reality show where they pick a bunch of people, they do things, they compete against each other, and you get voted off.
Correct.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she has this show. That's why I'm obsessed
Okay.
right now, because I started watching the show and I got really just the subculture of this community and the slang terms, language, the way they speak to each other, the way how the entertainment, that side of entertainment works, and just this like lip syncing is like a big thing. If you
Very
lip
much so,
sync
yeah.
well, that's something that you need to
That's
have in your
An
arsenal.
attribute. You're a good lip syncer.
Right. And I was just kind of amazed at the things that to turn into these characters that they have to do. Like
Okay.
tucking and everything like that. And they explain how you tuck your balls inside and then duct tape your
A lot of
shaft.
duct tape
in the-
is used. Lots of it.
they
I'm sure.
duct tape everything down, and some of these queens dress up, and you're just like, they go from like just a kind of a weird looking dude to this amazing looking woman. You're just like, how the hell is this happening? And then they put 'em-
why do I love it so much?
I can't look away, and it's not a freak show thing. I'm amazed at the lengths they go just to be an entertainer.
Correct, yeah,
I'm
they-
impressed
they-
by it.
You can see it just in that picture. From the other pictures, it's like a 100% difference.
Yeah. Well, I'll bring up.
Can you pull a screen grab from the show versus this, or like something else? Because
'Cause,
this
I mean,
is heavily
it's-
heavily edited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hold on.
just-
I just want to go into something else.
Just something of her appearing, even a music video or something like that. I mean, I guess maybe you should find something. current.
Here's kind of like a snapshot of an interview that she was doing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I mean, the tape.
Yeah, so that's a little bit more
realistic, but
Yeah.
it's over the top. But it's supposed to be over the
Correct.
top.
That's what they do.
Another thing I learned was drag means dressed as a girl. And
you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. And that comes
Wow.
from like Shakespearean,
Yeah.
plays and everything like that. So, I was amazed by it. And there's ones
Because
like,
it comes from the screenwriting thing. So it would say whoever, like if you're writing, let's say you're writing a script, it will be so and so, the person playing them, DRAG, dressed as a girl.
that's Courtney Act.
Okay.
She's a drag queen.
Okay.
She was on the street. I couldn't,
You never know.
I
never know
I
the
think it was just a nice looking lady.
You'd be like, I'm not into that. I'm into dudes. Get out of here. Lady. Get out of here.
But I mean, that stuff has been around for like years. Because when I was in college, I had a photographer. I took photography, and the teacher, he would go out to Fire Island and he would photograph these contests that they would have, and he started showing us some of these pictures, and it's like, wow, these are really beautiful women. He's like, they're not women, they're men in drag, and it's like, what? It was just incredible, the transformations, and they, as you said, they take on a whole personality that's completely different, and it's the names they come up with can be really creative.
Yeah.
Courtney Act,
It's
Sharon
caught,
Needles,
caught,
Violet
yeah.
Chachki. There's one, the queen that won the last season of the show was called Bob the Drag Queen.
That's really? Bob the drag queen?
That's so
His
meta.
name's
It's
not
great.
Bob. His name's not Bob. It's like Jamal or some shit.
There was we went to that burlesque show for Big Gay Hudson Valley. We shot that. It was like Crafted Cup was involved.
How was that?
It was hilarious. Yeah, and this wasn't a drag show. It was a burlesque. It was like dudes, and one guy was named Christian Mingle. I was like, that is awesome. That guy rules.
But the culture of it is just they're shocking, but it's all everybody knows that it's all in good fun. Like it's supposed to be that way. And the humor is it's slapstick, it's dark, and it's clever. It's all these different types of comedy rolled into this giant just a chaotic mess of makeup and hair and lights and sound and
glitter and
glitter. It's incredible. Now RuPaul was the first mainstream drag queen to get heavy notoriety and
and
well accepted
for a lot
too.
of we're talking 90s probably.
early
90s, early to mid 90s.
Supermodel, yeah.
So it was kind of like a sideshow thing for most of middle America white men. It was like, oh, did you know that's a chick? Ha, you're gay because you thought that was a girl.
Sure.
That was kind of part of the joke, and she kind of embraced that and was okay with it. And it was kind of a stepping stone to where we are now, where everyone's okay with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I had never heard of a famous person in drag ever. Still, there really aren't any.
If you're gonna name one before RuPaul, it'd be Divine, and the only reason I know that is from watching the show and getting it.
And doing heavy research. When your wife is asleep.
Yes. Late at night with my pants off. Supermodel is RuPaul's major single. That came out in 1993.
Okay.
And it was, you know it. Rob,
that was all over MTV.
I remember my mom listening to that.
That was heavy into the rotation.
I remember my mom listening to that in the car while we were just...
So it was on the radio.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. People
big
love...
dance hit.
Yes.
I wish we could play it, but we'll get booted.
We'll get booted off of YouTube. We'll get into that later. But,
Do you mind if I use a bathroom real quick and interject?
You guys want to take a quick break?
Well, yeah,
Right
we're
there?
about at the moment where we take a break. We'll come back with
Let's
more
do that.
RuPaul
Yeah.
because I would love to talk about
Let's do it.
RuPaul.
Let's
Oh
do
my
it.
God, of course you would. All right, so we're going to take a quick break.
Do you want to
You can go ahead. We got a couple things we got to do.
Is it up there?
Yep. Should I show them where it is?
Yeah,
Probably.
if Brooke's up
You
there.
should give
sure.
a map.
That'll be
If
fine.
you are
Just
here.
wander to the house and still you see the toilet. It's on
All
the
right.
bottom floor.
All right, so I forget how this goes again. All right, so as we go to break, if you got a couple of minutes, which you do if you're listening to the show live, check us out on Facebook, Dead Radio Podcast, Twitter, @Dead Radio Pod, Instagram, Dead Radio Podcast. like and rate the show on iTunes, and
Go to our
don't search for us on Patreon because apparently that doesn't work.
Yeah,
go to patreon.com/deadradiopodcast and you can support the show. Give us a few shekels. It's just like Kickstarter, except for they take money from you every month, which is great.
Yes. So do us a favor. Give us $5 and forget about it.
Yeah, we can be just like that Spotify premium account that you've been trying to cancel for 6 months.
Oh, is it like that?
Yeah, it's just like because you're like, well, it already renewed. I guess I'll wait till the end of the month. Yeah. So do that. Seriously, if you give us 50 cents a month, that will help us. You can do it based on episode. You can do it based on monthly. You can give us $1. You can give us $5. Everything will help the show. It will improve your experience listening and watching.
Yes.
And
so you did everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's because I'm not drunk yet.
We'll be right.
You got to do all at the end.
Yeah, we'll be right back with Sam and Rob from Conversations Over Coffee. We're going to talk more about RuPaul, maybe some of this YouTube nonsense that's going on. Well, I wouldn't call it nonsense, but we'll dig into it.
All right.
Be right back, kids.
Cue up some break music.
Yeah, you hang tight on that. I'll let you know.
High and tight. High and tight.
They said it came down with a breath and a shudder. The walls hit the ground, made a sound like no other. You said you wouldn't laugh at the rubble, there you are in all of your splendor, holding up a hand to your stubble and holding back a terrible word. This is awfully, this is awfully, this is all awfully hard. They'll say it got cold, like a draft from an old door. And it'll be told around the fire like folklore. They'll honor us with all of their pity by feeling kinda sad for a minute. Walk away accomplished and gritty, but underneath their breath they will say this. This is awfully, this is awfully, this is all awfully stupid. These kinds of things not supposed to happen to me. They happen to everyone else or anyone else. Trump, I could not stop.
bet you thought I'd come running. I bet you never had a doubt. I bet you thought I had a ring, baby. In the end of my snout. And blame me for it. I'll wear your target. My snout. And blame me for it. I'll wear your target. You were a dirty, dirty piggy, piggy. Oh, how I love to make you squeal. And every time you brought me home, girl, I cleaned my plate every meal. You gave me more than I deserved, girl. You pulled a minion from the herd. But then the milk had turned to curd, baby. And all those lines were getting blurred. I guess you thought I'd come running. I bet you never had a doubt. I guess you thought I had a ring, baby. At the end of my snout. And blame me for it. I'll wear your target. My snout. And blame me for it. I'll wear your target. My snout. My snout. My snout.
This is Frank from the band American Film History, and you're listening to Dead Radio Podcast.
Keep talking. Yeah, because all that is alienate the people that live there. When you have no right to, and make them feel like they're from Dutchess. People from Dutchess Community College, they graduate, they can't make their mugs anymore. They go to a place like Art Centro. A lot of people, it's viewed as a rough neighborhood, so they have a tough time dealing with that culture clash.
Yeah, for everybody just joining us, we're back live, and we got into a conversation on
Welcome
the break.
back to Ron and Fez on Friday.
We got into a conversation about Poughkeepsie. Rob asked a great
It has
question.
been. I will actually post it on Facebook because I've been streaming live. So check out that video on Facebook. It'll go up as soon as we're done with the live stream.
What we're talking about is just Poughkeepsie, and Sam asked me if I like it here, and I fucking love it here. I've talked about it on the show once in a while. It took me a little while to figure out why, and it's still I don't know completely why. I just like the mashup of everything, and I was saying it before.
It's like you're gonna get rid of the dank mo. That's my favorite part.
Yeah,
it's
from The Simpsons. Yeah,
I like that little bit of a grit and real people. And I like when like I'm a photographer and I'll go and shoot on Main Street and someone will come out like, what the fuck you taking pictures of? I'm like, it's a
taking pictures of my fucking
film
town,
camera.
dude.
Like I'm not,
Yeah.
And then it turns into a conversation. It's like his immediate assumption was I'm in his neighborhood gawking at what it is, and it's just no, I'm trying to get to know my town in a place that I don't know that well and people that I don't interact with every day, So yeah, and I like that area is the best place to take pictures of people. Like you get new, like I ride up on my electric skateboard and a bunch of people go, holy shit. And then I talk to them for a couple minutes and I take some pictures and we have a great time. And
Sure.
you meet a lot of really cool people. Whereas like a lot of people, unfortunately, have that perception like, I'm not going to ride in there with a $2,000 camera and a $1,500 skateboard in that neighborhood. With me, I'm like, nobody's going to rob me. I'm going to talk to them for 15 minutes. I'm going to take their picture. I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, incidents like maybe I'm giving people too much credit and I might get punched in the face and get all my stuff stolen. But you gotta have faith in people and your town.
You're creating like there's a perception, there's reality. Like what's the truth? How do we find reality when this?
Yeah, I mean it's
is
somewhere in
created,
between, and like to say like the chances of you getting robbed probably go up in that part of town versus this street right here. Of course, most of the people on this street, they own a $200,000 house. Why are they going to rob you?
Yeah, I'm the only one who doesn't.
I say that you're going to be robbed so that way you can pay the mortgage. That's what
He's like, I own a $112,000 house, sir. So, but that's the whole thing. It has nothing to do with culture or the people that live there. It's just the fact that they live there because it's cheaper.
Sure.
Places with cheaper housing tend to have people that are going to rob you because they don't have as much. Why would they rob you if they make $75,000 a year?
Resources are not as readily available.
Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, as I was saying before, instead of just gentrifying a neighborhood, redoing a whole thing, like you were talking about the underwear factory before, they're doing a good thing because they're renovating it, and in order to live there, you need to prove that you need that assistance. And that's awesome. Instead of building these lofts and crap on Main Street that are $1,800 a month for a fucking studio apartment, how about you rent that out for storage or something affordable, and build a restaurant downstairs?
Yeah.
And I understand.
Or something.
I understand why people are
store.
scared because you have like Queen City Bistro. That place has been 5 different restaurants in the last couple of years because they overreach. They try too hard. They go, oh, Main Street's going to be gentrified any day now. We can charge $18 for a burger.
Yep.
Correct.
And then,
it's not that type of
and then they're gone. Whereas you have like Shotzi's where it's affordable, it's fun, it's normal, and he's like, I'm putting a tequila bar in there. I don't know if that's public yet. Sorry, Tanner.
But I mean, that's the type of thing that you really need to go into. A lot of those empty storefronts along there, and so once you start getting that activity,
and the landlords, the people that own the buildings need to realize that it's not going to happen unless they give a little bit.
Yeah.
So and some of the most successful things, and I've heard about this on NPR. I haven't seen it in Poughkeepsie, but you have places like like rough neighborhoods in Chicago. These building owners, they make all the money from the apartments up, like the slums upstairs, and then all the storefronts are empty because no one can stay there. No one can stay in business. So why wouldn't you just say free rent for 2 years? Invest the money, renovate the place, do whatever you want. You get free rent for 2 years.
You're asking people to be altruistic. You're asking people to not just rely on greed. That's a hard thing to ask for.
Of
people.
course, yeah.
No, that's a great. That's what always
fucks it all up.
Yeah, I would love to have faith in people. I really would. Not. I keep saying 9 times out of 10.
But I mean, it makes so much sense for somebody. Like there are places that I drive by on the arterial. Like every time I have to go across the bridge, I take the arterial all the way home, and you see all of these places that have been for rent for 10 years.
House of Cards.
What?
That card store, or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Don't know. Yeah.
It's like house, and then E is missing.
Well, there's that like one glass building with like some murals on the sides, like where you make a left to go to the.
Oh
Chance.
yeah, Space for lease.
Yeah,
It's had that sign up for like
call so and so. you know,
DJ so and so. Sorry, everyone. That was inside.
Guys. I'm DJ so and so. That's a callback to a long time ago. So
Sorry.
anyway,
Couldn't help
that guy has had this vacant space for the last 10 years. 10 years. Longer, maybe. What does he have to lose to just go like, I'm looking for someone who's going to put down roots and make this something, and we'll start charging you rent at a reasonable rate in 2 years. We'll lock it in now.
Well,
you know, what do you have to lose? They renovate the space a little bit. You know, come on.
You're getting to the deep issues here.
Yeah.
I wish we
We
could have
need
that
more
person
Tanner
here and we could talk to them, you know?
Townsends. We need more Tanner Townsends in Poughkeepsie.
Oh.
Investing his coffee money all over
But
the
at Raymond
place.
Avenue looked very different like 5-10 years ago. They
Yeah.
built all those
Well, it's 'cause-
roundabouts. Remember
it's
that?
because Vassar bought everything.
But still,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
And that's
things change,
great,
though.
yeah. But the problem is that's gentrification, not what we're talking about.
I accidentally.
Why do you think the Juliet's not where they used to be?
Juliet
'Cause
was awesome.
Vassar bought the building.
Okay.
And they jacked the rent up.
I accidentally.
That's exactly why that happened.
I accidentally hit on the civil engineer that developed the rotaries.
Yeah, you're like, what's up? His name Marge.
It was an accident. I didn't know he was
Oh,
gay.
was it a
I was
man?
just talking to the guy, and I was being nice to him, and he was telling me, "Oh yeah, I'm part of the engineering team that built that was doing the roundabouts." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool." And I was got
Like,
to talking.
nice.
I got drunk, and then
you're like, I really like your shirt and your haircut. And then one thing
Pretty
led
much.
to another, and you're like, what's happening?
And then I found out later that the guy that I accidentally cock-blocked another guy who they invited this dude so they could pair up, but I ruined that whole fucking thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dick move.
It's what happens when you drink a couple glasses. I was around a bunch of people I didn't know. Had a couple glasses of wine, then someone broke out the home brew. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm just like a bunch of strangers, and I get a phone call 3 days later from a guy asking me to go to chocolate and wine tasting. I went, oh no!
Can I bring my?
He's
He's like, can I bring my wife?
Hot question. Can gentrification be stopped, or is it inevitable? Is gentrification always inevitable?
I mean, it's kind of inevitable, but it is inevitable. But the whole point is you can't start like in the middle. You have to start at the bottom
and slowly work your way
and
up.
work your way up. Because if you start in the middle, you have BurgerFi come in. And you go, oh, great, BurgerFi, they're going to provide 100 jobs, except for their minimum wage jobs in an area that no one who will take that job can get to without a car. You know what I mean? Like, no one lives there that needs a minimum wage job. You know
High
what I mean?
schoolers probably just
I guess the thought was the way that they pitched it to Vassar is like, oh yeah, students can work here, all that kind of. They're not like they're Vassars. They're not. They're pretty well off. You know what I mean? And that's again stereotyping. I know plenty of very poor Vassar students, but that area, I mean, the rent is just huge. I'm sure, and those apartments in those areas, they're very expensive for literally no reason. They're not very big. They're,
You got Twisted Soul. I enjoyed that.
I love that place.
That whole area is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason it's a bubble. It's
a
Vassar
bubble.
owns
Yes.
all of that.
Yes.
They own those buildings. You're saying
they
those
own
buildings that are
they don't own our building, but they own the building in between us and the Juliet building that was torn down.
No.
Yeah, they like the building
library
was
now,
falling
right?
apart.
Yeah.
And they just tore it down. They own the building that the Juliet and Baby Cakes is in. And why do you think the Juliet is not in that space anymore? Because they kept raising the rent. I mean, a place like that building has to cost tens of thousands of dollars a month to rent. And the Juliet was not making that kind of money. But they were like, that place was a staple. We used to go there in high school.
Hell yeah. All the time.
You know, and now they're up the road a bit in a building that Vassar probably doesn't own.
I think we're pulling away too, because we're talking about rent and money and all that stuff too. But there's also an attitude that comes with it, with
Yeah.
all this kind of stuff that comes in, like a more putting the sheen on everything. Some, like we said, we were talking about Kennedy Fried Chicken before, and that guy calling you out. Can you repeat that story, because I think that's a little relevant.
Definitely. So I went to 100 Cups of Coffee yesterday. It was best way to describe it at a community center in Poughkeepsie, and we talked about how we can make Poughkeepsie a kinder, safer place. And there was representatives from many different nonprofits, business, religious groups, and just concerned community members. And at one point, we created good dialogue, and a conversation came up like, how do you feel about Main Street Poughkeepsie? The difference between like East and West Side. We talk about the West Side is like Shotzi's by the train station, and the East Side's more of like mid central Main Street. Art Central, Kenny Fried Chicken, up there. And I said, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is sketchy. And there was the dialogue between them and a restaurant owner that, hey, like if you have never experienced it, you really shouldn't be calling it out like that. It's like you're perpetrating the stereotype that many people don't believe exists, and that it helps degrade the community, and I felt it was fair. And I thought about it.
It's a fair point.
Yeah,
he
I'm
he or
taking
she,
his
I don't
words.
know,
I'm not
needs
quoting
to,
him. I'm paraphrasing,
Yeah,
like,
of course. Yeah, that person needs to realize that regardless of that, the perception is real, and it's real for a reason. It's real for a reason because, like...
You're saying the perception. Like
the
perception.
Yeah, it's not just a perception. It's not. Like, he can say whatever he wants. But I'm a fairly capable person. I'm not going there at 2 a.m. for good reason.
The morning show that I used to work on, we wrote a song about Poughkeepsie, and it was to the song "In the City" by Joe Walsh. And one of the lines in it was, "I was shot here in Poughkeepsie, right outside of Kennedy Fried."
Wow.
And that was 2002. We wrote that song. Like that's where bad shit happens. That's what.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's talking about the 2 a.m. night though. He's talking about like 9 to 5.
Yeah,
Like just
and,
like regular
and
business stuff.
I don't think there's any reason for anybody to be worried to be there at that point. And like I said before, it's just the biggest problem is the separation. Is the fact that people that live there aren't used to people that not living there going there, and ne'er-do-wells who may live in that community, who are for sure not the majority of people that live there, are going to say, that guy doesn't live here, I'm going to rob him because I don't have to worry about it tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure he can't handle himself. I mean, that might just be my perception, but also, like, I'm not really scared to go in there, but it's, if Amy was going there by herself, especially after dark, like, I'd be worried about it, and I think that's a pretty valid thing. But if she at 2 p.m. on a Saturday was like, I'm gonna go pick up Kennedy Fried Chicken, I'd be like, all right.
But we all agreed here.
Yeah.
We might have heard the rumors that it's good chicken. None of us actually have been there.
Oh,
like
I haven't been there because I don't really eat a lot of fried chicken.
Yeah,
like that's the main thing.
I used to love fried chicken, but I can't have it anymore. So, but, I mean, that's my
That-
excuse.
that-
I got diagnosed only a couple of years ago. I could have went in
I'm
there
sure
before,
they have
but
other
I never
things
did.
besides chicken there too.
Yeah.
They might
I'm
have.
I don't fucking know. It's just a bunch of 4 white guys at a table talking about fucking
fried chicken. Yeah, I mean,
no,
like,
no, I didn't mean that.
We're
What
just
I mean,
terrible.
like, just the rough.
I just wish that we had someone to weigh in that was from the community within this conversation, because I don't know how good it is. I've heard it's great.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
That's all I've heard.
I've
heard 2 things.
Yeah.
The chicken is fucking amazing, and people have gotten shot.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing we were talking about with that, like, Facebook, the social media bubble. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't really go to restaurants that are outside of like, anywhere I can't get on the skateboard, I usually don't go to anymore. That's just kind of how it is. Like, there's so many good things right around here that I don't really go that far. I used to go to, that lower Main Street area quite a bit, but it's very expensive, so I don't really go there anymore.
Sure.
And it's just, I don't really go to restaurants like that to begin with, just because it's greasy, it's not really any cheaper, and it's just not good for you.
Sure.
But once in a while, I love some fried chicken.
Yeah, I just want to roll it back right now.
Yeah.
I thought you were at a good point, like when you said, like, oh, we're just 4 white dudes. I think that's important. And that's another point of conversations over coffee. When I first thought about it, is that like, can we still have these conversations even though we might not deem it appropriate? I think there's always a stereotype, like,
well, there's nothing censored on this show, and
no, it's not,
like, we definitely say things that may be deemed inappropriate,
No,
but again, like, I'm making fun of myself by saying we're just 4 white dudes.
No, but what he's saying is that there's this. We all feel the tension in the room, right?
Sure.
And not. It's none of this conversation is gonna like. It might come back, but it's not gonna be like. It's not gonna be harsh.
I don't
but
really feel it because I feel like I was just kind of. But I guess you guys like thought I was gonna maybe drop an N-bomb at some point. But I'm
No.
Yeah.
No.
No,
What
but
I'm
I
saying
can.
is,
Like now looking back at the things that I've said, I was just like, oh, it might have looked like I was just masking some horrible racism.
When
but
it-
that's not the case.
when it comes, I'm not saying that.
No.
What I'm saying is that we're a group of people who don't have any idea. At least I don't. I know you don't. I'm assuming you guys have no idea of what it's like to live in that section, to be part of that culture. And so we're just making assumptions on things we don't know. So,
But we're putting ourselves out there, and if we do get critiqued, we'll learn. You know, like that's what I felt like yesterday. You know, like
well, if any of our listener would like to suggest some guests for the show, I would love to have somebody who knew what was going on. Like, I would love for the fucking owner of Kennedy Fried Chicken to come on the show.
Definitely, and that's
that'd
the
be
thing.
awesome.
You might feel nervous, but that's where it's starting to get good because you're like nervous, like, oh, this might be stepping on my territory, but like. You're going to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
You're going to get really good feedback, and you're like, okay. And then you can start a dialogue, you know, because sometimes the flashback against you is not always warranted. You know, like there's some of it is just stereotypes.
Well,
you know,
because
I don't know.
I'm sure his reaction to you,
not just the situation. I'm talking about in everything. That's what COC tries to topic. You know, we try to tackle like tough issues sometimes.
Yeah.
When you say Rob, we try to tackle.
I mean, we've gotten into some that I can't say they would be controversial. But they did make some people a little bit uncomfortable in the conversation that we were having. And so you kind of really noticed that because the conversation kind of dwindled off, fairly soon.
Yeah.
We really didn't keep going, where other ones where everyone was comfortable, you kind of didn't want to leave. So
you feel the tension building. You pump the brakes because you're scared that you're going to get, chopped down for just not understanding, but there's that's where it's time to learn. Instead of jumping down somebody's throat, saying, "Well, it's not like that. It's really like this," and then you have a chance to actually explain the situation so that my dumbass who doesn't know anything about it can actually go, "Oh, well, and then the next person I speak to is, I've heard from somebody who's actually experienced XYZ, and they say this."
Yeah, just like the thing with the biscotti and the leaning at the coffee shop.
That's totally, that's a different fucking story. But yeah, but the moral of the story is, I love it here. I don't know why. I can't really exactly put my finger on it. I just do.
It's that hope combined with that little grittiness.
Yeah.
Like
blue collar too.
Like
It's
everybody
blue collar.
talks about New York City now, and they're like, I kind of liked it back in the 70s.
CBGBs.
It's kind of. I think it's kind of like that. I think we're like in 10 years when we have like a nice shuttle system that costs $1. And hopefully Metro North has gone out of business and it only costs $8 to go to the city instead of $400 or whatever. I feel like someday Poughkeepsie is just going to be, lower unemployment rates. We'll have that shuttle system they've been talking about for 12 goddamn years. Less potholes. I don't know. I'm going to run for mayor. I want to run for mayor someday.
Do it.
It's kind of interesting that you did bring up the whole thing about New York City, because one of the things that, as I said, in working in the middle of Poughkeepsie for 20 years, the thing I noticed, it was kind of a city, the inner part of the city where we were, or that I worked, at 5 o'clock everybody left. And it was dead.
Yeah,
it was a complete ghost town. And Manhattan is starting to become this way where everybody lives outside.
I've been to like Lower Manhattan to like meet people and just like, oh yeah, well I'll get off at Bowling Green where you are when you leave work and we'll go get some food.
Sure.
So I go to the city, I take the shuttle over to Times Square, and then I go all the way down to Lower Manhattan. Takes 45 goddamn minutes.
I know this
after
commute,
after the hour and a half I've been on the train.
Sure.
I get off at Bowling Green. They're like, all right, well, we got to go all the way uptown because nothing's open for seriously 100 blocks in every direction or
So
some
it's like
shit.
you say, why in the hell did you
like,
make me come all the
it's
way
like,
down here?
So
It's
why
like-
didn't you tell me that? And I would have just met you up there in an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go to it's just like after the zombie apocalypse down there at 5:45. It's crazy.
I was staying in
Yeah.
the financial district for a job that we were doing. Then they were building out CBS's studios, and we were staying down there, extended stays and everything. And that was it. Once the clock went down to zero, when the clock was up, everybody went to their apartments, and then we went out to dinner. We'd have to go out to dinner because we were away.
People don't cook there.
We're not. Well, it's not that we couldn't. We were a team of guys all staying in separate things. We all just went to dinner. We had a per diem and everything. But walking the streets, there's nothing. You have to hop on a train, go uptown, and find this place and that place. And there's these just sections of the city that just go dark because there's nothing. Or that's just where you work. You work here, and then you have fun over here. It's very strange. And I didn't realize it until you just mentioned it just now. And I'm like, oh, man, looking back. Son of a bitch, yeah, it was like a ghost town.
Yeah, I mean, because when you really look at it, what you need to be able to do is be able to get, as you were talking about, getting those lower rent buildings occupied, so that way people will live there, and they'll be there 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
except
the
for
whole
during
idea
the
would
week.
be
That's a good point.
like I was saying. It's gentrification, but in the right way. Like gentrification, obviously, is a derogatory term. It's to make everything nice and better than the people that live there.
Yeah,
already.
what the fuck does
And
that
white.
mean? That's
Yeah.
all perception.
Yeah. So if you take these areas and you make it so that businesses want to be there. That's the biggest thing.
Correct. You gotta bring the
so
businesses
businesses, not necessarily high-end places, but I mean, like, Brasserie is in a place that you didn't really go 10 years ago. There was nothing there. You crossed that arterial and there was nothing. And
The chance, that was
but,
it.
But that place was so good that it brought people across those 4 lanes of death trap fucking traffic to go eat there. And
I remember when
you
I
need
was
more of that.
When I was working for the radio station, we were at the Chance. We were doing an event. The band Against Me was there, and we were just hanging outside. And these 4 guys, just 4 guys. Now the lead singer's transgender, but they walked up to us and we're like, "Oh shit, what's up, guys?" And and they're like, "Hey, where can we get something to eat?" And I was like,
Let me think on that one.
There's
Oh.
a shitty Chinese place and
Acropolis.
there's
That was our go-to, the Acropolis.
I was like, there's the Jamaican place over here. Actually, they have good beef patties. But other than that, I can't point you in any direction. Sorry. Now it's just like, oh, there's Millhouse, there's Brasserie, there's Shotsky's, there's Queen
Is the
City,
Artist
there's
Loft still up and running down there?
the
or-
Artist Palette?
The Palette, thank you.
I believe so. Yeah.
And,
They are still open.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
and
then
they-
there was the Buddha place, the
Bull and Buddha.
Buddha.
Bull and Buddha has
Yeah.
been closed for about 6 years.
That's what I
That
thought. Yeah.
that's a good example of overreaching. Like,
yeah, trying to.
fantastic place. I love
Never
that
been, never
place. I
been.
thought it was great.
Yeah, they.
But
yeah, they had great food and they had like a club upstairs, which I don't give a shit about. But
I went to the club a couple times. It was
so did I.
fun.
So did I,
It was so much fun.
I went with you.
I went.
We went for Brooke's birthday one year.
Yeah, I went a lot more times than that with her.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I'm not a club guy. I don't go to clubs, but my wife, she just wants to dance. So we'd go out to this. The only place that we knew was Orient. Really, there was, I think, the
That
Mad
was
Hatter.
the club upstairs.
The Mad Hatter might have still been open, but the Mad Hatter you just didn't go to.
I've been to the Mad Hatter. I had good times at the Mad Hatter.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so there you go.
I was young, yeah.
But we went to Orient, and we'd hang out. It's dark as shit. They're playing, music that we don't really
Shit, top
listen
40.
to. So you just you hammer down a couple gins and you go on to the dance
Dance.
floor and spaz out. Everybody's out there doing the same thing. They're all spazzing out too. They don't care what you look like. They're trying to look cool. They're trying to be drunk and look cool just like you are. So everybody, it was weird. I wasn't expecting kind of dancing with some other dude, pointing yeah, song. It just, but that's
Meanwhile, his buddy is humping your wife.
yeah. Who cares?
Whatever.
What's gonna
That's
happen?
fine.
But I mean, and again, that's me going into not to toot my own horn or anything. That's me going into a situation that I'm not wholly comfortable with. But it harkens back to why don't you just stop in Kennedy Fried, get a bucket of wings.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
need to do it. We need to do it.
I'm glad we had this
I can't do shit.
conversation. You know,
I can't do shit
We
for
can
you.
go there.
I can watch you buy it and watch you eat it.
We can go there. Can you sit down in there, or is it just takeout?
We don't know.
Yeah.
I like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a thing.
I always thought it was just takeout only.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I know it's somebody that worked in our office used to go there a couple times. You know.
Oh.
Like
Let's
a
go.
week?
Well, no, couple times a month.
Yeah, he was between 400 and 600.
Well, no, we had to walk up 3 flights of stairs, so that kind of burned everything off.
Just
you know.
burned off the 2,000 calories.
But I mean, as you said, they loved it.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure it's great. I should say I don't seek out that kind of food. That's part of the thing. I bet you, like, that's really the core of it. Like, if I go to Billy Bob's, because I will seek out barbecue and pitchers of beer.
And Billy Bob's does it right.
Yeah. And, I'll get fried chicken there if they have it, but I'm not going to, like, go seek it out.
But you were at an age when you guys would go to the bars at night, and then you'd always get the munchies on the way home. You know, you always have your stops, right? Taco Bell,
Denny's.
For me, it was Wendy's if we were doing fast food. If it was like almost 1 a.m., or the diner or Denny's. Denny's was the big one. Denny's was the big one. Those
buffalo chicken strips.
Buffalo chicken strips.
Imagine Popeyes now when we were younger. Like I was younger, you guys are younger. Like I would hit Popeyes up all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Popeyes is great.
I've never been to a Popeyes.
It's good. It's good. It's better than KFC, in my opinion.
I say, well, it's just up the.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just
you
up
can
the street.
you can wait in traffic on a major road.
It causes a lot of traffic on that arterial.
Sure
Major.
Yeah.
I think everyone was waiting for that thing to go in.
Yeah, and now it's in. It's just causing problems. I have actually an update about the. I thought I did. Where'd it go?
Okay, so Amber goes, there are tables at Kennedy Fried Chicken, but it's mostly takeout. Laugh my ass off. Oh, wait, what happened? I'm trying to read this on my watch.
If we're talking about
Wrong place to be doing it.
If we're talking about local restaurants, that Golden Corral thing that we were talking about.
Down, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did close down.
So she goes, laugh my ass off. It's greasy and makes you have heartburn. Everything makes you have heartburn, Amber. She's the most stressed out person I've ever met.
All right, so maybe, that sounds like a you problem, Ambular.
Yeah, Amber.
But apparently the Golden Corral that we were just talking about is under investigation by the New York State Department of Labor.
No.
Oh, really?
Former employee at the restaurant filed complaints saying the franchise owner failed to pay multiple employees. On top of that, Golden Corral has backed away from the franchise, like it's taken away their franchise rights.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah,
well, that would be why they closed.
So, there's an open investigation involving the Golden Corral in Poughkeepsie, said Cullen Burnell, acting communications director of the State Department of Labor. Franchise owner Sharon Henderson initially declined to comment, but later sent the following text.
God, I hate
Good old text messages.
News. I would have continued providing employment opportunities and going through my growing pains to be the best buffet in the area, and if I was afforded the opportunity by Golden Corral. So as a result of Golden Corral terminating my license agreement, I was not able to continue the employment and other opportunities that were afforded by the revenue of the store. Sounds like there might be a couple different angles to this story too.
Yeah.
So every week. However, an employee at Golden Corral said Henderson did not pay him and other employees during the restaurant's brief time in Dutchess County. Every week there was a different problem, said Messiah Glenn, 22 of Poughkeepsie. Henderson owes me and others at least 3 paychecks.
That's bad.
Yeah, because I was kind of hearing a lot of stuff, along those lines that they were just kind of falling apart
And
internally.
then it's sad.
And then,
You have this building.
yeah, this
not
great
just-
building sitting there. Well, I can't say great. I mean, it's a
building.
Well, but
building.
how many hundreds of thousands of dollars are sunk into that?
Hell yeah.
And now it's just sitting there. And they said that.
I mean, like, I don't really feel bad for the people that spent the hundreds of thousands of dollars because they obviously have it. But,
Well, maybe they don't. Maybe
they were hoping that to become a good investment.
Yeah.
But then you got to think of all the people that went and they got a job there.
That's
and
we were
now
saying
all of a sudden
last
they
time.
don't
is
have
I
a job
really
anymore.
feel bad for the people that work there and got dicked around for months.
it's a bittersweet kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't want the last
Yeah.
thing we need is another franchise fucking restaurant in the area. We got plenty.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need another one, especially, you know, it's just gross, shitty food, you know. It sucks. But on the other side of that coin, they had however many employees, probably anywhere from 25,
100.
you know.
It was over 100.
Was it over?
in that
100
yeah.
employees?
Absolutely.
Wow, this place must be huge.
Well, no, you got
It's
to think
like a
that some
buffet
of them are
place.
like
So
part time.
It's
so
open.
they're not,
Well, it's open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to think, even if it's 10 cooks, 20 servers on in a day, you got to factor in the 40 hours that each can work.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So you're open 7 days a week, easily 100 people, 4 or 5 managers, 10, 20 cooks, probably 50 or 60 wait staff. It adds up quick,
Sure.
especially when you're talking about 12 hours a day, 7 days a week that they're open.
Nice.
and I guess the thing that I was always hearing that they were always full. I mean, people were really going there. They really liked it.
Yeah.
And so you really kind of wonder what happened. Why did it fall apart internally?
You know, it's probably just management. It was bad management. Somebody opened a franchise. I think
My
thought they could
first
handle it.
thought was like an investor dropped out and they were just hemorrhaging money, and that still sounds like it might be a possibility if they were like not paying people's paychecks.
But the franchise terminated their agreement. There must have been something to
Yeah.
that.
Well, the franchise terminated their agreement after they had the issues with the openings.
Sure.
You know, they opened, it didn't do well. They went on hiatus. I think this is how it went. They went on hiatus and then they reopened, and then there was more problems, and then like a stabbing or something like that.
There's a stabbing?
Well, no, there was some type of confrontation that went on.
Yeah,
Which
there
is
wa-
one of the reasons why they closed.
Yeah.
And then they opened back up again.
So after all that,
Drama.
and it was, you know, it was big news around here, and I'm sure Golden Corral got wind of it, and then just said, no, we don't want any part of this. This is not.
Yeah, it's not
our
what we
com-
want to
this is-
operate.
yeah, this is
But
not
even
how
if
we
they're
operate
full,
our
they
company.
should have got enough revenue to push some aside to pay employees. You know, like how do you get that much revenue and not have enough to pay employees?
Well, like I was saying, I think we were talking about it last week. A place like that, their overhead's like $200-300 grand a month. It's insane. I mean, just to keep the lights on is probably 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
all that food coming in. I mean,
Correct. The food
like
has to
people
come
don't
in and-
realize. Like you look at a place like Crafted Cup, it's just holy shit, all these sales, all this money coming in. But then it's just like, oh wait, like we just paid $5,000 for milk. You know,
My
like
God.
it's a lot of money that goes into. You know, and I don't know the specifics. I've never run a place, but you have to like. There's a reason that a cup of coffee costs $3. You know, the $3 worth of coffee beans, like the coffee beans that go into the cup, it's pennies. But all the things that need to happen to make that coffee go into that cup, so I can hand it to you, make it $3.
So the profit in that coffee is covering like the milk.
Covering
There's
all
that
of
overhead
that
that you
stuff,
gotta be
yeah.
in
and
consideration.
people
You
don't
charge for milk,
yeah.
do you? You know, like do you want cream in your coffee?
Yeah,
Like,
well,
the several $1,000
Yeah.
espresso machine.
Yeah, it
that
ju-
keeps
just- yeah.
keeps the heat
Yeah.
and the grinder that keeps the
Not-
heat regulator, the humidity regulator.
Tens
Yeah,
of
tens of
thousands
thousands of dollars to get all this
Yeah,
stuff.
so
just we give
imagine
you-
a
so we give you
place-
your goddamn latte.
Imagine a place that's designed to feed 500 people a day. Imagine the overhead that goes into that.
Sure.
So if that's mismanaged even for a little while, and then you close for months, most of that overhead is still happening.
The
you're
rent-
still
the rent's
paying
still there,
you're
yeah.
still paying 20 grand
Heat,
a month.
electric, yeah.
You're still paying 20 grand a month for the fucking slab that the building that you built is on.
and the loan that you took out.
Yeah,
to
so,
get it.
and the interest. It's a lot.
Those fixed costs, right?
Yeah.
Can't get
So
away with it.
so that place, sure, it probably makes $300,000-400,000 a month, but it probably costs $200,000 to $300,000 just to have it be there. So I mean, think about when you go to the grocery store, it costs you $100.
Sure.
That's you for a week, one person for a week. Imagine serving that much food to 5,000 people a week. I mean, it adds up.
Especially when you're dealing with a buffet because everything has to keep flowing.
And
it's not like
imagine-
you're ordering a certain meal.
Yeah.
They have to have a big pile of food there all the
Yeah,
time.
it's
The Golden Corral is a buffet.
Yeah, and it's probably 20% of it gets thrown in the garbage every night.
Which is really upsetting when you think about all the people who are going hungry.
Yeah.
I gotta ask the people who open it, like, what do you see in this? You know, if there's so much overhead costs, the buffet losing 20% of your inventory every day.
Because by the time you've paid off all the loans, you're making $100,000 a month. You're clearing $100,000 a month. It makes sense, you know.
Yeah, if you can hit all the hurdles. And
once you get past it, 3, 4, 5 years, to just be completely clearing $100,000 a month, that's crazy for a business.
But it seems like it's a challenge, though. Like you know what I mean? It's hard, you know? They've already coughed it up, you know? Business is tough, isn't it?
I wouldn't know.
It is tough. I mean, like, I have a small business, you know, I'm the photography stuff, but the amount of investment in the beginning, and, like, my business is a little bit different because it's like, this camera is not going to go bad in a week.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's still going to be okay in a week.
It's paid for by now.
It's paid for, and it's paid for itself 1,000 times over. But it's still that, like, that first year where it's just like, you really got to commit and you really got to spend $20,000 that you don't have to make that happen so that hopefully in 5 years you'll be in good shape. And we're just getting to that point. It's been like, what, 3-4 years with me doing the independent photography stuff?
3, yeah.
And it's just now getting to the point where it's kind of profitable. You know, but now I'm also, now I need to expand. And I need to take any money that I'm bringing in and put it back out to buy more gear and hire people and do all that kind of stuff. And it's daunting, and you really, like, stick your neck out for it. I can't even imagine that on the scale of that franchise.
Yeah.
Talking millions. Millions.
And then all the while, corporate is breathing down your neck to meet their standards.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
that's why you got to be a coffee mogul like Tanner. Just do whatever you want. Just go, you know what? This is what the logo looks like. I don't give a shit what you think. That's what Tanner does.
All right, I think we've hit the peak, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to. This is a prime example of conversations over coffee, right?
Agreed.
Just going all different directions and all different topics, right?
Yeah, that's usually the way it works. I mean, we'll come in with a topic, and let's just say we might be on it for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden we're drifting off in another direction. And what we're looking at doing now, because we realize that when you pick a topic, there's so many different avenues to go. We were looking to do, like, this is kind of what we want to do as a topic, but then each time we meet, we'll go a different direction, down a different road, and see where it goes. Yep. You know, like, I think we're now heading into philosophy coming up.
I have no idea
so.
where we're heading. You know,
Yeah.
we last week we talked about the ethics of violence, and that's kind of a heavy topic.
Correct.
Sure.
And we found some things out from violence, like the idea of a power structure. Violence can create power. Can, like, create resource. It's like the most effective way to say no. Some things we're talking about, and now we're like, the topic I came up with the name is a post-scarcity economy, the missing link to universal peace. So, like, the idea is that violence is created because people lack resources and people need resources, and you can use violence as an effective tool to protect or acquire resources. And if resources are readily available and very cheap, is violence like kind of like?
It'd be almost a non-issue.
Yeah, and then, like, you have these cathartic.
But there's still violence in Star Trek, and they've got all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
What the fuck?
And yeah. And
but there is world peace on
Sure.
Earth.
Yeah. But doesn't mean there will not still be cathartic experiences, because, like, there's the idea that violence is innate to humans, right? And humans take pleasure in violence in the sense of, like, Inglourious Bastards or other movies where there's heavy scenes of violence and people enjoy it.
It's against the Nazis, though, so we really enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah. They do that. They do that as well, you know?
I want to have this conversation because the thing is, once resources aren't an issue. It becomes about ideology, and you're wrong and I'm right. And that may not always lead to violence, but especially in the last, 15 years or so, it really has.
Yeah.
So,
But the ideology, right, has huge consequences. Like when Trump just tried to get that healthcare bill passed, the consequences of healthcare bill getting passed is that like 14 million people go uninsured.
Right here.
Like that's a huge consequence,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very big
And if you weren't married, it would be you too.
Yeah.
And so, like, when the idea of post-scarcity is that those consequences, even though if someone makes something, the ideology makes a crazy decision, is not going to have a huge impact on you. Like, hey, Trump might think differently, but his decisions have huge...
How's he going to hurt me?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
wait, he fucking can.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, like, that's my thing. It's just...
I like
definitely.
it,
I like the scarcity of resources thing because if you were to break things down into humans, just people, scarcity of resources at the base is why we fight. Then once that's not a problem, we've now found a new reason to kill each other.
Sure.
So yeah.
And I try to dive in why like we get pleasure for violence, right? So I think I try to take everything back to caveman style, right? Why are these mechanisms in place for survival? And if you make something pleasing, you want to do it over and over again. And if violence can increase your chances of survival, you will. This is a thing that we need to keep to survive, because we are here to survive. So you make this a pleasurable experience. Therefore, you want to do it over and over. And those people who are violent, I guess, lived, and everyone who wasn't predisposed to be violent kind of died off natural selection. So now we're like a group of people who are more predisposed to violence than not, because it kept us survival. And then you talk about ethics, right? We talked about ethics at some point about morality, right?
Correct.
And that ethics, the main driver of ethics is resources, like stealing, right? Is stealing an issue when you're starving and have no resources?
Right.
But having resources, it changes the game of the question,
Well, yeah, because the only reason that people think it's wrong to steal is because you don't have to.
Correct.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my dog, every fucking day, if he has an opportunity to steal any of your food, he will. And he will not feel bad about it until you crack him in the face. And then he goes, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. That's how he's built.
That bowl.
That's how he is built, and that's how every animal is built.
Yeah.
Us included. So, like, a lot of people get off on stealing, and that's maybe some weird psyche thing.
Correct.
But the thing is, if I'm starving and I can steal a loaf of bread and not get my fucking hand cut off, I'm going to do it. I'm absolutely going to do it. I haven't had to steal anything in a long time. But when I worked at Starbucks, when I was starving, I stole as much as I possibly fucking could from that company. I took other people's markouts and then sold coffee on fucking Craigslist to make money to buy food.
Wow.
That's
That's honest. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like...
Oops, Starbucks is knocking.
I had no problem with that. I had no problem doing that because fuck that gigantic billion-dollar corporation, and I will work every angle that... I won't steal something off the shelf and take it home, but I will work every goddamn angle that I can to get every resource that I can out of that, because I'm starving at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a decision that I made with my life, but I did it, and I'm a better person for it. And fuck Starbucks. Who cares? It's fine. So anyway,
That's
powerful
That's
conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And
we
so,
never talked about your gallbladder.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I don't know if you want to talk about my gallbladder.
Well, I think we're about to turn into a pumpkin at this point.
Yeah, pretty
right?
much. I mean, we got...
We're looking to wrap it up?
Yeah, we can. I got
So
gallbladder surgery
Yeah.
on Friday.
Look at this picture.
Here it is.
Oh, really nice. That's just
Oh my god, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
Show it to
looking at?
people at home.
it was laparoscopic surgery.
So what are we looking at in the picture?
That's his gallbladder.
That's the actual gallbladder. So right here.
Can I take a closer look?
They're holding it. This is the device where they're actually severing it.
It looks
right
like
there.
bacon fat.
Was it infected?
I had 2 polyps on it, and when they get over 8 millimeters, they take the whole thing out because you really don't need the damn thing. And I had 1 8 millimeter, 1 3. So they were like, 3 plus 8, it's 11. Let's take it out.
Oh.
So
That is thoroughly disgusting. this picture.
See, it doesn't bother me.
So, but this is your intestines here.
Yeah. And my liver's.
I mean, it's pretty awesome.
And my liver's on the bottom right.
Yeah.
If you see it.
And the bot. Oh yeah. Look at it.
You guys want to see these incisions?
Sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is it still sore?
It's probably this little tiny thing, right? Because they do really small stuff now.
Yeah, it's all laparoscopic.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's it.
Yeah, they don't have to cut you open anymore. They just go
Nope.
through little spots.
So did they shave you, or did you shave yourself?
I
in
woke up
preparation?
shaved.
Okay.
They, like,
I was just wondering if you've kept that up.
I've been under anesthesia before for endoscopies and everything
Yeah.
like that, but not like this. This is something completely different.
It's much deeper. From
Oh
what I've
boy!
been told.
Yeah, I woke up violently shaking from the cold. I was cold.
Okay.
And I was like, couldn't talk or anything. I was just chattering the whole
It's
time.
because you were shaven and naked in a fucking,
Yeah.
in a 68-degree operating room.
But
or no, don't they keep it? They keep
recovery
it
room.
colder, right? The
I don't
operating
know,
rooms.
but
I thought they
it's
kept
usually
them
very
like kind of cold. To
Probably,
keep the
man,
bacteria
because
down.
my feet were blue.
Oh my god.
Well, that's not good.
They put this great blow up hot like bubble blanket on me. It was great. Like all of a sudden I'm like, what are you doing? It felt like plastic. And then all of a sudden I hear like a vacuum cleaner sound. And then all of a sudden it was hot. I was like, this is great.
Yeah,
Take it home.
They like blow warm air over you, like convection.
But it was like it would fill it and then recirculate the hot air. So it was this constant hot air running through this blanket. It was
It's like a medical Dutch oven.
Yeah. Yes, without the smell. But my oxygen levels just, kept hitting the shit once they took me off of oxygen, and all of a sudden would plummet. So I was there way longer. Like I'm
geez.
talking 4 hours longer than I should have been.
Did they give you an explanation why your oxygen levels were
No,
plummeting?
they kept asking me questions. Do you smoke? Do you? They had all kinds of stuff, and I was like,
Yeah, they were probably just like that piece of shit. Just smokes 7 packs a day.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
Your
smoke.
reaction to anesthesia?
And they chalked it up to that, but one of the nurses was like, you should probably get a pulmonary workup just to be sure. So that's next on my list of things to do. The nursing staff over at Mid-Hudson Regional Medical Center,
St. Francis.
fantastic. They were great. They really were. They very attentive. The second lady, I think her name was Susan.
Thumbs up to Mid Hudson.
Yeah, they were great. They were absolutely fantastic. And Monday we were supposed to do the show. I had to cancel because they were like, oh, we'll be back to work on Monday. And Monday comes around and I'm like, I can't even do my stupid podcast. I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Tuesday came and I was okay, and then yesterday I was back to work, but I overstretched.
I'm glad you're better.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did this. This is fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a guy that finally
I'm glad
meet
you guys came on,
You know?
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I've definitely seen you a lot at Crafts Cup. Finally get the
Yeah,
introduction.
we've met, but we never interacted, which I was excited about because I want to do more of that with this show. Because every guest, aside from Shadow Witch, we kind of knew them. So, not people that we spend every day with, but we knew them.
Sure.
So I was interested to see where this would go. Well, I think it worked out. I think it worked out well.
That's great. I love
you guys weren't phased by the penis in the middle of the table at all.
No, I already knew about that thing, so it's like no biggie.
So we do have one thing we need to do before we go,
Let's
and
do
that's to pick a show title.
Oh yes,
And,
but first let me do this. Oh wait, let me hit that again. There you go. Adam compiles a list of show titles.
Yeah, we don't have a lot this time because we were being all serious. Usually it's the out of context ridiculous things that we say that become the show title.
If we kept talking about RuPaul, I would have gotten there.
Yeah,
I would have
sure.
taken us to that level.
Maybe next week.
So I can get pretty filthy.
So I wouldn't slip her a piece of beef.
Okay.
Is Mercedes a woman?
That's a good one.
A good lip syncer. And I accidentally hit on a civil engineer.
Either 2 or 4.
Yeah, I gotta say. I mean,
I like Mercedes.
I was gonna say
Mercedes a
Let's head
woman.
from
I can go with that. If you guys are,
Yeah.
that was in my top 2 as well as Sam's top 2. So, is Mercedes a woman?
Circle that for the kid so he knows what to do.
I like this. You guys writing on the table.
Yep, it was my wife made this table for me. She's like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we
She's
did a
very
chalkboard?
crafty.
She's the best.
You need crafty people around.
Puts up with my bullshit and lets me do this
Yeah.
bullshit without a bit of complaint.
That's awesome.
So yeah, Conversations Over Coffee, Facebook.com/ConversationsOverCoffee. You guys also are on your you have a WordPress. So that's cocpoughkeepsie.wordpress.com. Check them out. When do you guys normally do your show? It's Sundays at 11?
Sundays at 11.
Okay.
And you can also always email me at cocpoughkeepsie@gmail.com. I will respond.
And they're at the Crafted. They do their show at the Crafted Cup, and it's an open forum.
Yes.
Pop by, say hi, and try not to be rude.
Exactly.
No rude people. Right, Rob? No rude people.
I'm just going to run in and flip the table. Like the middle of your meeting, just flip the table.
We'll be okay. Tanner will be like, no.
I can just say it now.
Why?
He's like, I made that.
Yeah.
And you guys use Facebook Live to...
We've been we kind of stepped back from Facebook Live.
Okay.
We can talk about it a little bit.
Mainly because we found that when we were streaming live, people weren't willing to really express a lot of their feelings and go maybe in a direction they might feel uncomfortable with, but without the live stream there, they feel more comfortable with voicing certain opinions and going someplace and talking about certain topics.
That's the
so we're not sure what we're doing regarding to the live
helps.
stream
So
thing
especially
anymore.
when you're getting uncomfortable topics, they think they're going to get requests from family members who are watching and work.
Yeah.
And they don't want to fuck with their money stream.
Yeah.
Who does, you know? And I work at a place I have a little more freedom, but when I was working at an accounting firm, if they saw certain things, you could get in trouble for that, you know?
Sure.
Censored or fired.
When I was working my last job, and we had WAMC was one of our clients, and I couldn't say
I
anything
could sit
about
here
it.
and say I think Alan Shartok is an asshole, and he'd be like, "That's a thing that you said."
Correct.
But now I can agree with him.
Yeah, rat-faced douchebag. Anyway, enough shit talk about WAMC, and NPR is great. Just don't like WAMC. This is my thing.
But like Conversations Over Coffee on Facebook, and
Well, thank
give
you
him
for
a
having
shout.
us.
Send us, tell him Dead Radio sent you.
We definitely will.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys
We'll
enjoyed
be sharing
yourselves.
this podcast on our page.
Absolutely.
So
Share away.
They'll be seen.
Yeah. So we'll have links in all our descriptions, so you can find these guys. We got a couple things to do, and then we are out.
Yeah.
Do plugs.
I don't know
Do you
what
wanna
we
do-
got.
I thought
here.
you were gonna do them.
I was supposed to do them earlier, but also we got check out our buddies' podcast, Dark Side Records podcast, also Dork Side podcast. They're part of the Dark Side Records
fans.
Records and Gallery. Yep, they got their own podcast. They put out about once a month. Also
Once a month.
That's why I said about.
Sons of bitches.
Hudson Valley Legends. Also, if you don't know them, they have a bunch of episodes out. Download them all and listen
The
to them
best
all.
podcast in Hudson
Fantastic, especially if
So
you
much better
guys
than
have you
this.
guys ever heard
Holy
of Hudson
crap.
Valley Legends?
No, I
Are you a
not, so-
podcast
I do like
listener at
yes,
all?
I
or?
listen to podcasts.
Yeah, definitely. That is the best one around here.
Two local, Tony and Mike, local boy and girl that do
You figure out which one's which.
wonderful production
Here, I got
value.
this. I
and
got.
it's
Am
all,
I up here?
Yeah.
I'm not though,
You're
right?
up. You're up.
Am I? No, that's not it.
Welcome to Dead Radio Podcast.
That's
Yeah.
what their podcast sounds like. It's fucking awesome.
It's all about local urban legends
Oh, that'd
and
be pretty cool.
history and
Yeah.
everything. They just did a episode about Dutch Schultz and his
gold,
his buried
His
gold in the
treasure.
Catskills.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
very very interesting podcast. Also, Hudson Valley Transmitter as is a local publication for short stories, art, poetry. And they also do a podcast as well. Once a month, they do interviews with local artists and poets and musicians and everything
So
like that.
something
And
forthcoming soon.
Yeah,
like something between all of us, because we made a movie for their variety show, and then it got canceled because of Snowpocalypse.
Yeah,
and then I spent 80 hours making a movie that no one's seen yet. So, yeah.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
But
so
my
we're gonna-
hair looks great
Yeah, his
in
hair
it.
looks fucking great. So that'll debut soon, probably on YouTube with something with Hudson Valley Transit, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense outside of the context of that audience that was going to be in that bar on that Tuesday night. So that'll be forthcoming very soon. So you guys can check that out. Is that it?
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Well,
I didn't plug
Appreciate it.
The Dead Radio podcast is brought to you by Track 7 Studios. Where is it? I
They will photography
We will
everything.
photography everything. I have it written. Where is
Providing quality artistic photography
Yeah, there
and
you go.
video services for advertising or events of any size.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Awesome.
Partners.
I am smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.